Comic Book Savant, Comic Sense, Trade Review. Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant podcast. I'm your host, James Harris. This episode is going to be a Comic Sense episode where I'm going to be doing a trade review for Firepower Volume 1 Prelude. This is a new series, a relatively new series, started by Image Comics under the Skybound imprint, which is the Robert Kirkman division of Image Comics that has really been thriving and booming over, the past 5+ years, just putting out a lot of new books. This is the cornerstone where all of his projects come out of, and I really like and I've made no qualms over the years that Robert Kirkman is in my top 10, top 5 writers currently, and he has been for quite a while now. And I love the fact as a writer, as an independent comic entrepreneur, that he never rests on his laurels. He has the ultra successful Walking Dead. He abruptly ends that book. He had the ultra successful Invincible, abruptly ended that book. And he constantly rolls out new ideas. Some hit, some miss, some miss, but he will keep trying things out. I mean, we just look at something on the Image imprint. We see someone like Todd McFarlane. Yes, he's made millions, but he's only had one good idea ever, and that's Spawn. And a lot of other people besides him helped him formulate the idea to make the character popular, hence all the lawsuits and all that stuff that happened many years ago, which I don't want to get into. So I like the fact that Kirkman is not afraid to throw caution to the wind and try new things. And this is another new thing from Kirkman that he rolled out with Firepower. And it kind of just, I saw him on an interview and it was like, hey, this book will be out next week. Similar to kind of like he rolled out like Oblivion Song. It just kind of came out of nowhere. He dropped it. He had plenty of issues in the can, so it just hit the ground running, which I kind of like that. But let me get into the specifics of Firepower Volume 1 Prelude. Again, so it's published by Image Comics under Skybound. It retails for about $7.99. Page count is 155 pages. Written by Robert Kirkman. Artwork done by Samnee. The colorist is Matt Wilson, and letterer is Russ Wooton. And the breakdown for the book is as follows. Owen Johnson's journey to China to learn about his birth parents eventually leads him to a mysterious Shaolin temple. The students there study to rediscover the firepower, the lost art of throwing fireballs, a power they claim will be needed soon to save the world. Will Owen Johnson be the first person in 1,000 years to wield the firepower? And it's just a really simple premise. We've seen bits and pieces of this story told before. I love the fact that it's a throwback because roughly, I'm in that age range of Kirkman. I might be a slightly older. I used to watch old Kung Fu movies on the weekends on the USA Network back in the day and just on the local channels. And it just takes the bits and pieces from those old dubbed Kung Fu movies that we used to get here in the States from China and Japan back in the day, and that we used to watch, kind of put in a modern setting with the great kind of throwback art style from Samnee. I just love his artwork, and sometimes people as like fans, as comic fans, we can get so caught up in, the ultra realistic or the photorealistic artwork. I just feel like in comics, it's so much room for so many different styles of interpretation of artwork. I just think this fits. I love the fact that with Kirkman, he will craft certain stories just around a certain artist's strong suits and strong points, so they accentuate and they thrive in that project that they're working on. And I feel like he's done that again with this book. I couldn't think of anyone better to pair for this book. And I like the way he launched this series. He didn't launch with an ongoing issue 1. He launches this with this reasonably price point, you know, $7.99 for 155 pages. It's basically like a elongated zero issue, or like what you would get in like a 4 issue miniseries. So, you know, sometimes they'll do before they launch an ongoing book. Then they go into the, you know, the main ongoing story. So I appreciated that because it gave me a substantial enough test taste test of the book to see if I wanted to continue on with the ongoing series. So I also like that too, as a business owner, which him running Skybound, the Skybound imprint, that he, again, not just with the projects he picks, but the way he rolls them out. He's experimenting, trying new things for the comic fan to experiment with new books. You look at books going for $3, $4, $5, $6 for one issue. For $7.99, you get an equivalent of a 4 issue trade. I appreciate that, and I definitely feel like it was worth the money. I love the way that Kirkman can write a very relatable character. You know, in the course of this 155 pages, you get the whole setup of the world, the main premise of what the series is going to be, who your protagonist is, who your antagonist is. They set up this whole world within this. And he just writes great characters that you can relate to, and the states have the real world situations, circumstances, and consequences. I do like, he's just really good at doing that. He's very successful, and that's what pulls me into a lot of his books. And again, I've not read everything that Kirkman has ever written. I'm not going to say that. I've read, cause certain stuff, again, like with anyone, I won't like. I'll try it and I won't like it. Or certain stuff, because if it's just not a genre or subject matter that interests me, I will totally, skip it. So, but the things that I do like of his, I just, it's a certain way that he writes. Greg Rucka's like that for me, and also Jason Aaron. It's the way and the passion that comes out in the way they write, that when they write something that speaks to me, it really speaks to me. And this is another one of those things. I've really enjoyed Oblivion Song, and I've done multiple reviews of that series as it launched and it has continued on. This is another one for me that's kind of hitting like a sweet spot that I'm enjoying so far from the first taste of it. And I also commend Kirkman for the talent that he assembles for these projects, and the collaborators in which he chooses for each new project that he comes up with. And like I said, not everything is going to be a home run, but again, at this point, he's one of those names that I'll see in comics that, based on that he's attached to it, I'm willing to at least give it a try. And that's becoming fewer and far between in comics nowadays, but he's one of those people that he's rock solid for me, that I'm willing to put my money down on something that his name is on, because I know it's going to be top notch and quality at the end of the day. Even if I don't like it and I try it and I buy like an issue for $3, I don't feel like, I've never bought a book of his and felt like I wasted my money. I guess I might didn't like it, but I never felt like I wasted my money. And that's hard to say, because I've spent money on Marvel and DC books that I thought was going to be something, and then after I got past the cover and opened up the book inside, and felt like I totally got ripped off. So that's one thing I can always say, he's cash money on that aspect. Again, Chris Semi's artwork, it just brings the right amount of energy, emotion, coupled with the writing that gets those hooks into you early. And just from the opening page, it's a splash page of of Owen like climbing the mountain and the view he's looking at over the mountain range. It hooks you from that point on till when you last close the book out and you flip that last page. He's just money like that. He's consistent. He's been in the game for a while. I love this stuff on Daredevil, Black Widow, the other work, Captain America, the stuff he's done over at Marvel. Now coming over here to this, doing this project, creator-owned project with Kirkman. I'm just like all for his work. He's just one of those artists that, like I said, his style of his own, because it's a throwback, because it's kind of more animated, cartoony style, comic booky style, if I could say that. I feel like it's kind of a throwback to old school comics, and I just love it. And it just pairs nicely with the book for me. I feel like this is a great start to a solid series that will continue to pick up in the foreseeable future. Have you guys picked up Firepower at all? Have you tried out the Prelude volume 1 Prelude, or have you picked up any issues of the ongoing series at this point? I will be doing a follow-up review as the series moves along. I'll continue on. I've already bought issues of the ongoing series off the strength of this. After I read this, I picked up more for sure, so I can definitely recommend it. Out of a 10-point scale for me, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's a solid good read for me, and like I said, I'm looking forward to enjoying more of the series as it progresses along. So definitely another strong showing for Skybound Comics and Robert Kirkman. But that's all I have to say about this book. Again, I'll be doing more of these trade reviews as always, so more to come. It's a massive backlog of content. Like I said, I'm recording feverishly to build a cache up of episodes so I can have everything releasing on a current basis. So you will be getting more of these episodes more frequently across the board with the content. They'll be a little bit shorter form like this, but you'll be getting 2 to 3 episodes a week compared to just 1 episode a week, how the format of the podcast went before. I don't even know what sequence you'll necessarily hear the individual episodes, because it'll vary, because I want to vary the content. I don't want to just have, a week where you get 2 or 3 episodes of just comic reviews, or just TV reviews, or just movie reviews. So I want to space out the content. So, but it's definitely going to be more content. Comic Book Savant 2.0 is in full effect. Thank you guys so much for your support. As always, you can follow and contact me over at comicbooksavant.com. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram over at Comic Book Savant. Also, we have the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Comic Book Savant, and the Facebook group as well. Links to all that will be on the Facebook page and on the website. You can get to all the links for everything else there. Also on YouTube, you can follow me on YouTube as well. But all the links to all the content will be on the website and on the Facebook page, etc., etc. But that's all I have for you guys for this episode. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe. And until next time, talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.